recommend recommend the anatomy and the physiology. And then I know in my high school we didn't have a lot of kinesiology and movement of the joints, but I would recommend also finding that as well too. So focus on how the joints move and how they function as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how do you really bring who you are into chiropractic? Because obviously you come from a different background than the majority
Hmm.
of other chiropractors. You have probably a different cultural upbringing than most chiropractors. How have you really enjoyed that experience or been challenged by that experience? What's that been like for you?
I mean, yes, definitely, because I didn't grow up in the background where we talked a lot about doctors and health, because in my family, we didn't go to the doctor unless you were dying, right?
Yep.
And we didn't talk about, if you had a illness or anything, you just took some medicine or you took something to help you, like, if you had a headache, you took some Tylenol, ibuprofen, and you
Right.
got through it. So for me, bringing myself into just being educated,
Mm-hmm.
a big part of what I do every day with my patients is education. First and foremost, doctors are teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's our job to educate the public on how to best take care of themselves and improve their health. So I always look at it from that aspect of if I was talking to a loved one, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, I would, talk to the patient in the same way. In that matter of, I care about you. This is how we're going to get you feeling better. This is how we're going to get you, staying well and not just living but thriving. So that's what I bring into it from that aspect of this is somebody's loved one and they need to be cared for, and they came to you for that.
Do you think that you've been able to reach certain people that have previously never given chiropractic a try because they either didn't identify with the chiropractor that they saw, or it just wasn't being communicated in a way that was relevant or that they could relate to?
I mean, most definitely. I mean, we get people on a regular basis that tell us, I went to this chiropractor, but it was never ever explained to me this way. They kind of just said like, this is what is wrong, as far as your spinal alignment. Let me adjust you, and then that was kind of it for them. So that was their view of chiropractic was, you just go, you get cracked, right?
Hmm.
Whereas if they would come to me, they would come to any of our doctors, and they'd be like, wow, like I didn't know that this had so much to do with my body and how I was functioning, that by getting this adjustment, it was doing much more than just cracking my bones.
Facts, facts. And you said
Mhm.
you're in Chicago. What area are you in? What's the demographic like? What types
Oh,
of people typically come into the office?
okay. Um, I live in Chicago right now. I mean, I guess we could say it's like a small suburb right out of Chicago called Evanston, Illinois. I
Hmm.
mean, we have a pretty diverse demographic. We have, from all backgrounds, from religious backgrounds, from ethnic backgrounds. It's pretty diverse where I'm at. So we see a lot of different people.
Dope, dope.
Hmm.
Yeah. What do you think that chiropractic could do if we had more diversity in chiropractic? How could chiropractic really change communities, or just reach new populations that are maybe being forgotten about with the current demographic we have in
Yes.
chiropractic?
Yes. I like this question. Most definitely, I believe that this profession can definitely benefit from diversity in the profession. I mean, as you can tell, what's going on with the current pandemic, it's not equal across all boards.
Mm.
And like I said, growing up, in an African American home, we didn't talk about going to doctors because there was no trust of going to doctors, right?
Mm.
And so it wasn't something that you would go and get checked out every year. You would go if you felt like, oh, well, I'm sick and something's not right. Let me go in and, see what's going on now. But by then it's too late.
Right.
You're looking at either stage 4 cancer, or you're looking at, type 2 diabetes that's gotten too far. But I really want to reach that demographic and install that trust in chiropractors. Like I want us to be the doctors that you trust and come to for that advice, for that help, and not wait until it's too late. So that's my hope in the future, is to be able to reach those that don't have a belief or trust in doctors, and
Mhm.
instill that trust and let them know there's a different way of approaching a healthier lifestyle, and
Mhm.
that the model that we're used to may not have been working. So let's try something different. How about we put more focus on how a patient can help themselves overcome an illness. And, there's always going to be a pandemic. There's always going to be some kind of illness out there. There's no, we can't do anything about that, but we can do something to help our bodies fight that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my hope of, getting people to realize is you can do something about it. You can help yourself. They need the education. They need to know what they can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to a prospective student who is trying to decide, should I go the chiropractic route? Should I go the medical route? Should I become a pharmacist? Should I become a chiropractor?
Okay. Definitely everybody's different in how they want to help. First and foremost, I would look within yourself and see what kind of doctor do you want to be. How do you want to reach your patients? How do you want to reach your demographic? Who is it that you were trying to help?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then look at, your own philosophy of how you want to help people. And I think that's what made my decisions of, I didn't want to do surgery. I didn't want to prescribe medicines. So it made it easier for me to choose chiropractor because that was the route that didn't require those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And being a primary care portal of entry type of profession, how does that really help you as the chiropractor feel more confident in your abilities, or how is that reflected in just sort of your worldview of walking through your community and just knowing how much you can help people and knowing how you could do it?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So being like, you talking about being like the primary physician in the patient's care,
I'm just
right?
saying, how does that help us as chiropractors that we don't need
Ah,
a referral, that people can get help from us? We meet them in the supermarket or at the barber shop or wherever, and
got you.
meet them where they're at, you know?
Yes, I mean most definitely because we don't want to have to depend on someone else telling them, oh, you should go see a chiropractor or you should seek alternative, care. So it does definitely being that primary care physician. Not only that, just knowing that you have that knowledge to help the person without having to go through someone else, that makes them feel more confident in you as well. So they know that you're a primary care physician, just like so and so MD over here. You have just as much education, just as much training and experience to help me, and I don't have to go through them to get to you. So
That
it's definitely a big help when it comes to being that primary care physician.
Well, Marcus, thank you for keeping it real and just being transparent with any prospective students that watch this. There was a lot to take away from Marcus's path, how, went from being a pharmacist to finding himself as a chiropractor years later. And how many years you in practice now?
Now it's going, 7 years now.
And you feel still very good about the decision you made to become a chiropractor?
I mean, I feel excellent about the decisions that I made for sure, and it's definitely still an ongoing growing process of who I'm becoming as a physician every day.
Dope, dope. Thank you so much, Marcus. I hope you have a great day, brother. And let's be in touch. Keep it pushing.
Yes, thank you so much, Ben, for having me on. You too.
Most definitely. Yes.
Bye bye.